In this video, we've got Panantukan striking with a hammer fist. Now, hammer fist is brilliant because anyone can do it, very quick to learn, very, very powerful, don't need any gloves. With a little bit of practice, you can get very good. Anyway, onto the action in a second, but I just want to say, if you like the video, click on the thumbs up button thing, type in the comments below what you want to see next, and also if you want to see more of our stuff, then click on subscribe and do the notification bell and all that other YouTuber stuff. And cool, I'll see you in the next one. Here we go to the action. Now we're going to be looking at empty hand striking, but with a hammer fist this time. So rather than a conventional punch where it's quite technical, you've got to make sure your hands all lined up and you've got to condition your knuckles. The risk of breaking your knuckles here. Hammer fist is really nice because it's a fairly sizable pad on the bottom of your hand here, especially if you squeeze your knuckles together, some of that muscle pops out at the bottom. It gives you a little bit of protection around the small bones, and also you can really easily modify it to be a forearm smash. So you've got this big leeway of hitting some kind of target somewhere with this big kind of clubbing thing on the end of your arm. Oh, makes me feel good. So we can have forehand and backhand is usually the way that I've distinguished between them. Forehand, that way, backhand, that way, just like tennis. And I'm going to start with the rear hand unusually. Basically the forehand can be in an angle, like angle 1, can be straight down, can kind of be horizontal. The more horizontal it is, the more I've got to pull my elbow across in front of my center line, the more I've got to rotate my hip. It's no bad thing because then it means I've got a lot of my body angular momentum being imparted into my enemy's face. That's always nice. I kind of like the angle one really, because it's an unusual angle of attack. Can also be used to clear somebody's barriers out of the way. If I hammer down somebody's forearm, maybe I can then trap it again and hammer again. The way we're going to do this is hammer and retract back up here and hammer again. So I can just keep going over and over again. I'm not going to swing all the way through like a laptic strike with a stick. This is much more like a redondo strike. I have the stick, I swing all the way through there. I'm chambered now on the left side, ready for a backhand. A backhand is lovely with weapons. Backhand's okay with empty hand hammer strikes. It's got its place, but it's slightly lower power in my opinion than that forehand, because you can just get, especially rear hand, you can get all of your hips in behind it here. I'm going to go bam, come back out, bam, draw it back, bam, draw it back. It's all that weight shifting, just like with a hook punch here. That one. And also with my rear hook, there, rear hammer, there. Target wise, anything, side of the head. Because you've got this nice muscular pad here, or you're hitting with the stronger forearm bones, it doesn't matter too much if you hit somebody right in the cranium rather than any particular soft spot. Obviously nice to get on the neck, obviously nice to get the eye and the jaw or somewhere like that. This vertical one seems weird because why would I like bop somebody right on the top of their head? It's not for the top of the head, it's to scrape down the front of their face. So imagine that's my enemy's face, and rather than being like, I'm going to bop you on the top of the head here, I'm just going to rake it right down their face and reset. Could even almost come forwards, like so. And again, it's a weird strike to deal with. If somebody has watched boxing or watched MMA or something, they're probably used to the idea of conventional punches, uppercuts and hooks and tackles and stuff like that. But these hammers, they can come from a weird, unexpected angle and get through a guard effectively. Oh, and the thing I like to pair with it is the left palm. So as soon as I've hammered, I put my palm over where I've hit. So I go palm there, and reset to go again. Like so. So there's nothing worse than being smashed in the face than not being able to see afterwards exactly what happened. That can be forward pressure, so I can feel it go again. That can be where I can feel where they're moving if they're trying to tackle or anything like that. Forehand hammer. the amount of load up you give is going to be a sliding scale between power delivered and amount of telegraphing and how easily somebody's going to see it coming. If I can hammer from here, it doesn't look like anything's on its way. That's it. If I can hammer from here, you can kind of tell what's about to happen, but it's going to be harder to stop. So if I can hammer from there, that's pretty nice, right? If I can hammer from here, I can get much more in there, but the person can probably see it coming a little bit sooner. So a bigger hammer needs a better setup, whatever that setup might be. Yeah, that's it. Just this kind of weird slapping, overwhelming. Blah, 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 blah. Cool. Forehand hammer with the rear hand. So that rear hand, forehand hammer can be very, very powerful. You can also do a forehand hammer with the lead hand. It's quite a bit harder to get a lot of power in there. I'm going to be having to coil it up similar to a lead hook and really bring that elbow across the center line and hit here. I tend to find I don't really like it, so I don't use it that often. The straight out hammer is kind of like it's a really awkward version of a jab, maybe. And the side hammer here is like an awkward version of a hook. You can kind of make it work a little bit. As long as you load it up and bring the elbow across your center line, you can still kind of get fairly good solid thud. It's not nearly as good as the rear hand hammer, but maybe that's just me and I've not practiced it enough. That's okay. Anyway, so that's forehand hammers. Rear hand, big smash. Lead hand, big smash.